Video number 11, Coffee for Someone Waiting. It's Phan again, and it's been quite a while since we had a chance to sit down and chat. How have you all been? Are you well? Has anything new or exciting happened? For me, everything's been pretty normal, all according to my plan. Just a quick update for you all. Today's episode is about coffee, and I think since you clicked on this episode, you probably already know what story I'm about to tell you. So, let's begin. One thing about me is that I absolutely, truly love the smell of coffee. Even though I'm not good at drinking coffee, in fact, I rarely drink it and I can't even distinguish between different types, I genuinely love to smell it. Whenever I smell coffee, I always get this incredibly comforting feeling. It's a warmth that's cozy and gentle, not a burning or intense heat like chili or sweat. The warmth of coffee just really touches your soul. It's a very tender warmth, but not overly elegant. It's distinctly coffee, gentle. Just hearing the two words coffee, already sounds so graceful. And now it's the 21st century, and in Vietnam, people drink a lot of coffee. Everyone, everywhere drinks coffee. You can find it anywhere, from fancy places like Starbucks or Highlands Coffee to small, cozy cafes, or even in markets or on sidewalks. Basically, it's drunk everywhere. Since I love the smell of coffee so much, I also really enjoy going to coffee shops. But when I'm there, I usually don't order coffee drinks much, simply because I don't really like them. Instead, I often pick a drink that has the most reasonable price on the menu, because honestly, my budget isn't exactly overflowing. Then I'll find a quiet spot, settle down, set up my pens, laptop, and books. If I have my headphones too, it's absolutely 100% perfect for me to focus and work efficiently. I really love the atmosphere in coffee shops because it's a space that offers just enough privacy without being too isolating. What I mean is, when you're in a coffee shop, you have your own space to work and focus without being disturbed, but at the same time, you're not completely alone or feeling too lonely. Because whenever you look up from your work, you see people all around you. Even though they're not related to you, we're all social beings, so everyone wants a place where they don't feel utterly alone. Plus, if a coffee shop is a little noisy, it's often more like white noise. The sounds aren't really directed at me and don't genuinely distract me. That's why I enjoy being in coffee shops. The other day, I read a post on Facebook that said if you're sad, you should go to a coffee shop to lighten your mood. If you're happy, you should go even more to treat yourself to a delicious drink. And if you're neither sad nor happy, well, that's all the more reason to go to a coffee shop, because if you're feeling bland, bored, or don't know what to do, a coffee shop helps shake off the boredom. So I thought, that's so true. A coffee shop really is an ideal and suitable space for doing all sorts of things. A while ago, I ordered a book called Coffee for Someone Waiting by Giddens Ko. When I read reviews online, I noticed people didn't really love it. They mostly rated it as average. But for me, I absolutely adore this book. I've probably read it 3, 4, maybe 5 times already, and every time I read it, I still get swept away by the romance. I don't know, the setting is so captivating. A coffee shop named Someone Waiting already sounds incredibly romantic, doesn't it? So the coffee shop is named Someone Waiting because there's a supporting character, the lady owner of the cafe. She only brews exactly 2 cups of coffee each day, named the owner's special coffee. Every day, she makes these 2 cups in a unique way, but their common characteristic is that they are extremely difficult to drink, and only 2 cups are sold each day. If someone is willing to buy 1 cup and offer one to the owner, they get the chance to sit and chat with her. The conversation lasts exactly as long as it takes to finish that cup of coffee. If someone, day after day, comes to buy that cup of coffee and talk to the lady owner, no matter the wind, rain, landslides, earthquakes, tsunamis, or whatever else happens, then that person is her true soulmate. And the lady owner, she's waited for so long, she's waited and waited until she almost gave up. But finally, she found her true love. I find this detail incredibly romantic, and the name Coffee for Someone Waiting already sounds so poignant. I also know of a hostel in Da Lat called Someone Waiting, and inside it, there's a coffee shop also named Coffee for Someone Waiting. I haven't been there yet, but if you get the chance, you should definitely check it out. I think it sounds quite interesting. One naive morning, I heard your life story, flowing like spring, without haste or flaw. Thien brought back old habits to the cafe from ancient tales. You're like a morning sunbeam, stirring my soul while I've yet to sip my beer. How many delicious dreams coalesce in a corner of peach tea? My heart still remembers today, stirring with emotion. And perhaps destiny brought you here. How could I articulate those first feelings of love for someone as elegant as you? You walk by, fragrant with jasmine, and I see morning dew on your long hair. You step and my soul vanishes. Oh, darling, when I see you sitting there on the weekend, thin in a white shirt, drinking peach tea. You're relaxed in a black dress, a lotus among flowers, slowly approaching from outside. One look and I want to cancel everything, my heart skips a beat. I might sound a bit clumsy, but your gaze is so sweet, sweeter than peach tea. I hadn't even finished scrolling through websites, but your cleverness shone through, still captivating. Nothing changes, still 4 or 5 steps from the usual grind. Oh, darling, why is it so strange? I remember everything, but why does this time feel so intense? Seeing you makes me want to love you forever. I find it beautifully subtle. I drink peach tea to gather the courage to approach you slowly, bit by bit. Can we sit here? This second movement is named happiness. I don't know why, meeting you for the first time, I felt like we had known each other forever. Now, I always send you friend requests on Facebook, my jasmine flower. The other day, I watched a show called Happy Memories, Kai Uk V, and it's quite interesting because they share stories from the 60s, 70s, and so on. I watched an episode about coffee, which was fascinating. I learned that back then in Vietnam, very few people drank coffee. It was mostly for artists, intellectuals, basically those with money. People like students or farmers primarily drank tea, and the way coffee was drunk in the north and south was completely different. Northerners would drink it black, strong, and without ice basically, pure and concentrated. Southerners, on the other hand, would usually drink it lighter, often adding a bit of butter or milk. While watching that show, I heard Mr. Nguyen Chan recount that there was a very famous coffee in Saigon called Nam Duong coffee. When you held a cup of milk coffee, you would take a toothpick, dip it into a French butter jar, then insert the toothpick into the coffee cup and stir. The aroma and flavor of the butter mixed with the milk coffee sounded incredibly delicious and stimulating. I've never tried it myself, but watching the video, it looked really good and appealing. And when I read Tahoe's work, Cat Bui Chan AI, Dust of the World, if I recall correctly, yes, it was by Tahoe. There was a detail where Tahoe and Nguyen Tuan went to drink sock coffee near Westlake. For those who don't know, back then there weren't coffee filters like today. People would put coffee powder into a fabric bag, and that bag resembled a sock, which is why it was called sock coffee. They would put this fabric bag into a pot of water, boil it vigorously, and when a guest arrived, they would pour it out. Sometimes a little milk or butter would be added to enhance the flavor. I found that quite interesting. If you want to learn a bit about things from the past, around the 20th century, you can read Tahoe's Cat Bui Chan AI. In it, Tahoe recounts many fascinating stories and also reveals a lot about the culture of Old Hanoi, which is quite intriguing. And Nguyen Tuan, from his work Chuang Gyu Tu Tu, The Prisoner's Word, we know he was a person who lived with great aesthetic appreciation, truly captivated by beauty and such. So, his descriptions of enjoying coffee were also very interesting, but I don't remember them well enough to share the exact details with you all now. So, you can find and read it yourselves, because for me, it's a great book. Later, after the liberation of North Vietnam, and with the country's development partly influenced by Saigon culture, people in Hanoi started drinking more coffee. Following that, a new type of coffee was born: egg coffee. Before, I used to read articles, perhaps on Ken 14 or somewhere else, claiming that egg coffee was world famous. So I always thought it originated from some foreign country. But I was surprised to learn that egg coffee actually originated in Vietnam, invented by Vietnamese people themselves. The most famous is Giang Egg Coffee in Hanoi, which is considered the birthplace of egg coffee. To make it, 2 egg yolks are separated, then whisked until fluffy using an egg beater, and then coffee is poured in. When you drink it, you get a sensation of sweetness with bitterness and bitterness with sweetness. Watching this, I wondered how they made it decades ago when there were no electric egg beaters. I saw a man explaining that the son who invented the coffee used to whisk the eggs by hand before electric beaters existed to make them fluffy. I thought, wow, that's truly ingenuity. Creating something like that with such effort is truly remarkable and impressive. So I feel like coffee has a lot of interesting and fascinating stories to tell. That's why I've shared some with you all. This story ends here. Thank you, everyone.